I had a girlfriend who said, I love adventure, and I thought, I'm not actually fitting the picture of what I think she might want. And with that, I did what it took to get a slot on the Grand Canyon, and it really sparked an intense passion for me for doing these river trips. I met all the people I was working with were really incredible people, and the work itself was really fun. You know, you get up in the morning and you make breakfast for everybody, and you row boats all day, and then you make lunch, and then you make dinner, and repeat. But the excitement of it, and meeting people from around the world, and being in charge of a raft, and ultimately in charge of the whole trips, you know, you're parenting, or you're protecting and taking care of people who are your parents' age, and it became like a fast track to a good self-image. And I really enjoyed the work. During that experience, I hooked up with some people who were also passionately into this, and they opened multiple doors of knowing people that I wouldn't know otherwise. And one of the people I knew from that was Yvon Chouinard, whom many of you might have read about in the news recently. He is the owner, or was the owner, of Patagonia. Chouinard, let me tell you his story. Chouinard is about 5'4", and he was a part of these people that I knew from rafting and kayaking, who were dirtbaggers. They self-described dirtbaggers. They lived in Camp 4 in Yosemite. So if you've been to Yosemite and been to Camp 4, it's nothing. It's just, you know, most places have toilets and showers, and Camp 4 has nothing. That's where they lived. And Chouinard's famous for saying, I used to live on dented cat food cans he bought for a nickel apiece. That's what he ate, because they were all into climbing. They were so incredibly passionate into climbing, they didn't need anything. They pretty much lived in the dirt. That's why they call themselves dirtbaggers. Now, Chouinard, when he gave his company away, the company was worth $3 billion. So he came a long way from there. But what struck me about Chouinard is he never changed. So just thinking about this, I thought it would be important for us to examine our own lives. Not that many of us are going to be in that peculiar position where what we do and what the world needs is so extreme that we would come up with a $3 billion valuation of it. But that what we do does matter. As we think about our life, I think we often wonder, what is my purpose? And so I've done a little research on what people are saying these days. And so a long time it used to be said, follow your passion and the money will come. Remember that? How many of you did that? And it kind of worked and it kind of doesn't. Sometimes you really hit a home run, sometimes you don't. But largely I think it's more complex than that. That if you want to know what your real purpose is, yes, what you're really interested in will matter once you get started doing something that matters to everybody else. So if you don't do something that can help the world, if you just do your passion and it does not connect, there's a really good chance you won't eat well. But knowing what you're good at and expanding on that will help develop your own sense of contribution to the world. And when you figure out what you're doing for the world, that sense of belonging will happen also. And the sense of reward will happen as the world says, thank you for doing that. Do you ever wonder that? What is my purpose? Many of us in here, some of us are on the beginning of our lives, and some have passed the working years, but the question still remains, what is our purpose at this moment? Here's how he answered it. He said, first of all, you want to know who you are, and then you want to, let me see if I can get all these. So the question is who you are. Who are you? And he said, all right, so if y'all will play with me, I'll kind of reenact this a little bit. He says, so who you are, just say your first name as loud as you can. So on the count of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's who you are. I thought that's cheating, but it was pretty good. And he goes, okay, and so now, what is it that you're good at? And he said, so just imagine if you had to teach somebody what you're doing, what you could teach somebody right this moment that you already know how to do, that you do well enough that you could be a teacher of it, and the question, and then what would that be? So on a count of 5, can you come up with an answer for that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What would you teach? There you go. Okay, so there you got it. So that's essentially the second component of it. Now the third component is, I'm going to have to ask my notes here what that is, because this is his talk, not mine. And then, so that's what you do, and then who do you do it for? So on a count of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, who do you do it for? And then now we're getting a little deeper, and this is what need does that fulfill for them? Not for you. What need does that fulfill for them? Okay, question understood? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then how are they changed? How are they changed? So you have what you do, you know who you are, you know what you do, you know who you do it for, you know what they need, and then how are they changed? Now I was thinking for many of us that are retired, we're probably going, yeah, well, I don't really have that thing. But many of us do. We're volunteering, or we have that. Or the other thing you could say, which may not be a practice you have right now, but a practice you could adopt, is that I pray for people. And ultimately, I lead them to have a need fulfilled, which would be twofold, which would be that someone cares for them, and that there is a deeper connection with the divine with them, and how they're changed is really you're in bringing them to a higher state of awareness and to a deeper connection to themselves. And wouldn't that be something you could say at a bar? The power of your being, your true nature, cannot be fully expressed, I think, until you begin to contact this sense of oneness in which your education, whether it be formal or informal, your experience, your passion, what you can do well, and what the world needs, when they can all be worked together into something. And then you go about your life as a whole, not as just a worker, or not as just someone who is wandering. And if you're retiring, then find something that actually feeds your soul and the world at the same time. And it could be as silent and as invisible as praying for others. Or it could be as large as selling your company and giving it to the world. Or it could be somewhere in between. We all have a gift that we will be better off by sharing.